this is MBT Sky, and you are on my excuse me daily reach channel. And today is the 30th. I've been gone for a second, and now I'm back. So today I've decided not to use zodiac cards. I'm using regular deck and the oracle, and so we are still in this Taurus energy, and it's still in. We still have this Saturn energy for the month number. So let's see what Saturn is talking about. Oh, that's interesting. It literally came back out. 44, storm. Every hurricane comes to an end. So if you're in your, dealing with Saturn, it rules over Capricorn. That's the 10th house. So if you're dealing with certain changes with your profession and reputation and building your foundation and structure, right, and investing, understand that, yes, there may be stormy moments where things is not clear, things are uncomfortable, and you have to go into that and deal with that situation, understanding that these things come to an end, right? No one is going to be in a storm forever. So pay attention to your Capricorn house. Let's see what the overall energy is talking about for Jupiter. And when you talk about Jupiter, you're talking about, what is that? The 9th house, Sagittarius, okay? So your faith, your belief, your religion, wealth, good luck, things of that nature. So let's see what Taurus and Jupiter got going on. And so we're dealing with this earth fire energy here, and it says garden. So it says something lovely will grow from this. So Taurus, what can grow from you tapping into your spiritual aspects, your actual beliefs, your religions, your faiths, right? Your good fortune, your ability to create good fortune, the wheel of good luck, right? In the garden, investing, paying attention, focusing the energy there, Taurus, especially if things is a little bit shaky when it comes to, finances and the physical reality. It's a good idea to understand that it's still room to invest, grow, create, become wealthy, take upon that good old energy of the Jupiter planet, Taurus. Alright, so let's see. The high vibration today is in 5, the medium, Uranus and Neptune, and Mercury for the high and the low, which is not necessarily meaning the low, but we're staying out of that energy, right? It's the Pluto energy. So let's see what Mercury is talking about. And so Taurus, if you have some Virgo, Gemini, this is communication, this is service, occupation, stuff like that, right? This is mentality and duality and expressions and all of that stuff. So let's see what's going on in the high frequency for Taurus today. Alright, so you have the 7 of Pentacles, some patience. You have the 4 of Wands, right? And the 10 of Cups. So this is good energy in the high frequency, especially if this is your thoughts, this is how you communicate, and this is your mentality. This is, what are you giving service back to? Where's the patience? Investment and slow growth. It may be a little bit frustrating, but in the higher frequencies is a discussion of lots of patience, right? Building a firm foundation, okay? Coming together in a celebratory manner regardless. Yes, there's something started here, there's seeds planted here, there's growth coming, and then you have this 4 of Wands celebrating and doing things together in good energy, right? And in happy energy, there's 10 of Cups, which also speaks of family, in love and a complete happiness in that environment, right? So now let's look at this medium frequency, the Uranus Neptune energy. And when you're dealing with Uranus and Neptune, you're dealing with Aquarius, Pisces energies. So if you got some of that in there, you're dealing with friends, social circles, social groups. You're dealing with confinements, hospitals, secrets, hidden activities. Sometimes long-term goals, hopes, and wishes, right? So you want to keep your hopes and wishes good. This verifies this Jupiter energy right here. Outside of that, you want to pay attention to your social circles and your friends, right? And your hopes, wishes, and desires, what you're trying to put out there, okay? And also pay attention to the subconscious mind, because this is really what this is a discussion about. I can see it from the way the cards are going down. So let's see what else is going on here. Alright, so let's see what's going on in this middle frequency. The 5 of Wands, the 9 of Pentacles, death and a rebirth. So out of all fairness, let's look at this major, because this is the first major that comes up here, right? And so when you are dealing with the card of the major arcana of death. You're dealing with Scorpio energy, and that's Pluto, which is down here. Okay, that's middle frequency. So there may be some petty activity, some competition, and not always got to be petty. It could just be friendly competition, challenges that take place, especially when it comes to building and creating in a physical reality. And there's some there may be this discussion of particular endings and rebirths and recycles that need to take place to balance out. Now, this may be something that one needs to really tap into the subconscious mind about. What is the fight? What is the conflict? Is it a friendly battle or a challenge to make one grow into this Nine of Pentacles process, and then create this ending and rebirth, right? So we're going to look at this ending and rebirth, because at the end of the day, we have to look and see what the rebirth is talking about real quick. All right, so let's see. And of course, when you talked about the death and rebirth, right? If we're going to look at it on a chart, you talk about inheritance, you talk about changes, unpredictable and uncontrolled changes that bring upon balance regardless. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. And so you have this Knight of Cups here. All right, so the ending here is being combative or secretly combative, or feeling everything has to be challenged. There's competitions involved, especially when it comes to the physical reality. This could be money. This could be, wealth, your physical existence, health, right? And then this rebirth, this Knight of Cups comes. And this comes with a communication and conversation of love, happiness. But, you still have to be a little bit mindful because the Knights are still young. This comes through with those type of messages, okay? And that's the rebirth of discussing love in a pretty pure manner, as pure as it's going to get, okay? So, let's look at this right here, okay? And the thing that's interesting is that the Knight is coming in this way, okay? The Knight is coming in towards the rebirth, all right? So let me look and see what's going on so we can look across the board. And if you notice, his head is going towards this Ten of Cups, okay? So let's see what else comes down in a lower frequency real quick. Yeah, there's Three of Cups here. Alrighty. The Two of Cups here. There's a lot of water energy down here, y'all. And, alright. And you have the Queen of Swords down here. So, Taurus, I want y'all to know something, okay? When it comes to dealing with the Libra and Taurus, right? There's this, it's the same planet, okay? Why? Because, first off, they both ruled by Venus. One is the air aspect, the other is the earth aspect, okay? Now, in the lower frequency, the Queen of Swords is very aggressive, okay? Very blunt. And usually, the water and the air energy is not in balance, okay? Now, if you look in, there's some changes that's going down here, which is involving friends, people around you. This would talk about the social groups and relationships. The Queen of Swords, in this lower frequency of this energy, will not connect. 9 times out of 10, there's things that's taking change and in place. Partnerships, unions, relationships, friendships. She's not involved in it right now. And so I'm going to look at these flags right here and see what she's paying attention to. Because really, to get about this lower frequency, there's going to be an ending of a cycle and a rebirth of a cycle, right? If you moving through these frequencies to get up into this Ten of Cups. So let's see what else is going on. So here we have this Eight of Cups. So, these are things that's, ending, changing, and, creating new opportunities. This Queen of Swords here is focused on walking away from a particular situation. She may get back to the situation at some point, but right now she's focused on something totally different, which is going towards this Eight of Cups, walking away from an emotional situation. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, this Taurus Jupiter energy she's also facing, okay, something lovely will grow. So, in this low frequency, these things are not being seen. Something is not being left. This is out of balance. That's why, relationships are not being focused on. Partnerships is not being focused on. Friends are not being focused on. Partying is not being focused on. It's just not happening right now. Okay? And so this is where this battle will come in. And Taurus, if you're dominant and you have some Libra in there, you can be moving in this air aspect right here. Okay? And just to be fair, we're dealing with this Queen of Swords down here, right? So when you're dealing with the Queen of Swords, you're dealing with 20 degrees Virgo and 20 degrees Libra. Alright, so that's very fair. Moving through, okay, in the higher frequency, to stay in the higher frequency, the social circles is not important, right? The relationships in partnerships right now is not important. There's a little bit of fight here, okay, and it's going on without full interaction. But in order to get out this low state here, it's a little bit of a fight just to build back into stability, to create certain endings in the rebirth of, being properly tapped in a water frequency. And then after that, investing, being patient, understanding that what you invest will produce and bring a firm foundation and a happy family, a happy environment. Okay? But in the lower vibrations, these things are not happening. Social is not happening. And these are the things that will take change for those who have a high frequency and are naturally going to be a high frequency. These things will change. The social circles will change. They will end. You have new social circles. Certain relationships and partnerships will end, and you will have opportunity even if you're not paying attention. Pay attention to the subconscious though, right? And walking away from particular situations, for some will happen and for some won't. Okay, but this is all the mindset. Okay, what are you willing to really fight for? What are you willing to compete for? And are you competing to build and create in your physical reality and bring upon necessary endings and restarts? So, let me see what else is going on here. And this card breaks down into the 6. So, therefore, that's letting you know, and that a little bit of Venus energy. Hey, up here, the King of Pentacles comes down. This is, when you're dealing with the King of Coins, you're dealing with 20 degrees Leo, 20 degrees Virgo, but this is a Taurus energy. In some systems, they would say it's Capricorn energy, but it's a Taurus energy. So this is what may come about further on in the higher frequencies, the communications and the changes, the mentality, the way one expresses when they are thinking and using their hands and creating in physical reality, create firm foundations in a happy family. And then you have this King of Pentacles here that brings this financial stability, and this is Earth, fire energy. Okay, that's Taurus. This is Taurus. So this may be talking about a masculine energy also. Okay, that's balanced out in the Earth, fire energy. Okay, some Tauruses, this may be an older man of discussion. Okay, and beneath that, this is what this is growing to. There's a walking away. Some will accept the walking away. Some are pondering on the walking away. Don't overthink. Okay, certain things that you're going to walk away from. It's temporary walking away. You come back with this Knight of Cups energy. You come back and you motivate further up into a balanced energy, because in order to get to the Kings, you still have to understand all aspects from the Page to the King. Okay, so this is not a bad thing, but pay attention to the way you communicate about the things that you want to do and the things that you're going to do, your mentality, how you express it, how you put your energy into it. Because Taurus is kind of sometimes have a hard time with that. So they get a little bit mixy in their air energy, and things may come out like, more negative than Tauruses really want them to, even though they are good at creating a reality. They, when you're dealing with Taurus, you're still dealing with your possessions, your values, your finances, bringing in finances, being able to create finances, and being good in that energy. All right. So anyway, let me see what else up. Let's look at this storm issue. Right? Or hurricane. Every hurricane comes to an end, and this is a fact. also, Tauruses, pay attention to, these Three of Cups in this lower energy when you get into your 9 and you get into your 10. Pay attention to that. If they was down here, those groups of individuals, then you don't want them in your middle frequency and your high frequency. Okay? It's just that simple. There's also this vibe that I'm getting from this Three of Cups and this Five of Wands, Taurus is Jupiter, because when you have the Three of Cups in the lower frequency, also it's a discussion of jealousy and envious energy that creates petty nonsense, okay, that may slow down certain things that you're trying to get done. This is at the foundation of the Seven of Pentacles. Why things are not moving as fast as some Tauruses might want, or some people that's dominant in Tauruses might want. Pay attention to the people you're around. Pay attention to what goes on. If there's secret petty energy that is slowing down production in your higher frequency, okay? Pay attention to partnerships and relationships that may affect your money and your firm foundations also, all right? And pay attention to when this Queen of Swords energy is in a negative vibe, okay, because it creates endings, but there's renewals and there is happiness that comes about, okay, but it can affect family situations. All right, pay attention to the Eight of Cups, the walking away, okay, from certain situations, certain emotional situations, because one may be in the emotions too much, okay. That may create an issue here with the King of Pentacles, because when you're dealing with too much water energy, you drown out Earth. So anyway, that's just another view for certain Tauruses, because everybody got different situations going on. Okay, so let's see what else is going on over here. Alright, and here goes the Tower. Yeah, okay, great. So in this Saturn energy, right, some have experienced really stormy, hurricane-ish kind of events, especially dealing with finances, properties, things of that nature, complete teardowns, right? So those are coming to an end, okay? Pay attention to this Tower energy, okay? Because during a teardown, you have to look for the fragments necessary to create this Four of Wands energy over here, this Ten of Cups energy over here, all right? And this is what may be the communication of it's going to take some time and it's going to take some patience, okay? But is it worth it? Yeah. I'll give one more card to it. And when we're dealing with the Tower, just in fairness, because that is another major, right? We're dealing with Aries, right? So you're dealing with this Aries Scorpio energy. All right. Mars energy, first house, okay? All right. Right, and so things will balance back out. But make sure that, during the storms, during the hurricanes, during all of the frustration that may take place for some of y'all, things that's drastically changing that you cannot control, make sure that when all hell is breaking loose, or you feel like all hell is breaking loose, that you're able to find the positive energy and the positive aspects of those things, because those are the things that's going to allow you to balance out. And, things will come in, blessings will come in, help will come in, assistance will come in. But at this end of the day, being able to rebuild and having the patience to do so, it will come in. It's just that simple. So anyway, Tauruses, be good, and I will see you all on the next one. Smooches and deuces.